tuning in to the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hey. Hello and welcome to another after show for Just Jillian. Today we're going to be discussing episode 3 and 4. Now, if you're listening to the podcast on iTunes, please give us a 5-star rating. Let us know what you'd like to see in the show. And if you're watching on YouTube, please leave a lovely comment below. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Now, before we get into the show, my name is Dakota T. Jones. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Mr. Dakota T. Jones. And I have a lovely co-host with me today.
Hey guys, I'm Lindsey Miller. Sorry to miss you last week, but I will be here from now on. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter at Rockin' Mama Life.
All right, well, let's jump right into this.
Yes,
we have the first episode we're going to be talking about today, season 1, episode 3, titled "Expand the Brand."
Oh yes. And expanding she is.
She is. We started off with this lovely shot of Richard, her dog, humping her leg.
Yes, love it.
That's a great kickstart into this, super serious lady, gonna take over the world.
Exactly. Setting the tone. You know what I like about this? I like that they're just in the filming of this because, it's a new show, and anytime you have reality TV, it's kind of like, it's a little awkward. I imagine it's awkward for her. Like, she's been on reality-based TV, but this is like people in her home and her life. Right. And I love that they have just these little snippets. They're starting with all these like just hysterical teasers of the most random stuff where you open the episode and you're like, what is happening?
I know. It makes her very human, which I was really appreciative to see because, we always see her as, like the song said before we started, a soldier. She's just powering through, showing the world what she's got, but it's so fun to see her human moments.
Love it. Like letting her dog hump her.
Yes, and she just let it happen.
Trying to get her to focus.
She has a very small attention span.
I love it.
But then we meet someone named T. Major, who is, like, I guess, the protege of the next generation of fitness. What did you think about him?
Yeah, so I love this. They're talking about in the podcast this week about how, Jillian's talking in a podcast about how she's trying to find this work-life balance. And she's like, I don't want to be doing this forever. I want to, be able to run this business and have other people do it. And so she finds this guy, T. Major, who does ridiculous things.
Crazy.
I mean, like, for real, these push-ups, like, I'm like, I can't.
Jillian couldn't even do some of the things he was doing.
I loved it when he was like, he did a full push-up into a pike into a push-up and could have like done like 10 more from like the looks of it, and she was like,
She's like, no.
But I was impressed that like her and Giancarlo did them too. Like they were doing a bunch of the plyo push-ups, and like
it was great at the end. They were all sweating so bad.
Backflip into a burpee, like I can't.
No. And then she's like, give me a hug. And he's like, you really want a sweaty hug?
Yeah.
It was great.
But yeah, so they do this, one of their things in expanding the brand is this Fit Fusion, which is their Netflix for fitness, which there's a couple of different sites doing something similar. I'm a personal trainer, and so I have, I know kind of what's going on in that world, and there's a couple sites, and I'm actually really curious to see what happens with Fit Fusion because it's such a cool space right now, like having really great trainers doing stuff at home, and you have no idea how hard it is. Like, I felt for T. Major when we see him in this video shoot and he's like falling apart because it's so hard. It's so different, and Jillian spoke out about, the difference between these like Instagram Fitspo kind of selfie, like I just look hot and I work out in the gym, trainers, and like real trainers. And this guy trains the troops, overseas. And he's a great trainer.
He does not mess around.
But he doesn't exactly make like consumer videos, and he's not exactly working with like Sally Joe in the Midwest, like teaching her how to do a push-up. So I think it was like hard for him to connect and to like be able to do that. So it's interesting to see
because he's not used to being in front of the camera necessarily. He's used to like being able to edit his own YouTube videos.
Right.
And if he messes up, he can just go over it. No one's going to really know. But being in front of an entire crew, it was definitely, you could tell he was freaking out. And I loved that Jillian just came to him and was like, look, chill out, man. You got this. You're one of the most talented people I've ever laid my eyes on. Just let go, have fun. Don't worry about everyone else. And after that, you could see it just clicked, and he did a great job.
Yeah, because you're just like, do what you do. And I think it's hard, too, because we see Kenta. We meet this episode as well, who's also an amazing trainer that Jillian's been working with, I believe, for like 6 years, she said.
Yeah.
And he is fantastic. You know, just the little snippets we see is engaging and dynamic and just a really great, like, on-camera trainer.
Yeah.
That you can tell she's been working with and teaching him everything she knows. And then to walk in and see that and then be like, oh crap, I'm supposed to do that too, when you're used to making, like, just having like your buddy tape you do push-ups in your gym. Like, it's not the same.
Not the same.
I imagine very overwhelming.
I know. I think that's definitely something that people mistake is like YouTubers and people who are actually doing this in front of like a set. People don't understand.
So different.
Yeah, and like I was watching something the other day and there was a YouTuber that was getting interviewed, and even them trying to like, you know, like be in front of another person or a crew, and they're just trying to talk and they're just like, they don't know what to do. It's so crazy because they're just so used to doing their own thing. Yeah. They can cut and paste and make it look like whatever they want.
It's a whole different world. But I think I actually really like this. You know, when it comes to like the clothing line, all that stuff, it's very typical for somebody to branch out in that terms of like branding. And I think it's really smart that she's doing something to try to like train other instructors and personalities and create like this whole network. I think it's really a smart direction they're going in the brand. So it's interesting to see. Yeah. For sure. But then we have her home life. Yeah. Which I love. I love seeing Jillian's home life.
Oh, me too.
And poor Heidi. I love Heidi.
Heidi just has to like...
She's like, I just want to get married. Yeah. And little Phoenix, her son, needs his tonsils out. I think this might have been my favorite part of the episode, where they're reading the like Goodbye Tonsils book, and Jillian's like, there's a freaking book for everything.
Yeah, she's like, we got a book for... we got a book for going to the restroom. We got a book for tonsils. We got a... It's just like...
I love it. And like, I'm a mom, so I can totally relate because I'm very much like Jillian in terms of parenting. When she's talking about potty training her daughter Lou, she's like, I just had a conversation with like, put it in the toilet. Yeah. I was like, I love you, Jillian.
See,
I love it.
The way that I was brought up, we did have like, not like crazy amount, but we had some of those books, you know, like I had this book that taught me how to use the restroom, and I had this book.
There's a book for everything.
And you know what? It works.
They're a really good teaching tool, and it's very like in right now. Yeah. But it's hysterical because Jillian's like, for real?
She's like
Goodbye
no.
Time.
Yeah.
It's like a novel. It was a really long book, too.
Yeah, I know. It was like, by the time that it's finished reading that, the tonsils could have been out by now.
And then just the whole, we see him like all excited for this like adventure. They wake up at 5 a.m. She's like, he has no idea.
No.
He's so excited because this book told him it was this great tonsil party, and little does he know they're severing off part of it.
The way she was explaining that just sounded like he was going in for like a heart transplant or something.
So funny. And then she accidentally gets a little bit of the gas, like, when she goes up, because
that stuff is strong. I've had my like a lot of teeth pulled and like wisdom teeth and all that kind of stuff. Like that stuff will knock you out. One whiff of that and you're gone.
So funny.
So the best pitch for anyone getting their tonsils out is free ice cream.
Yes.
Yeah,
any kid just be like, you get to eat a ton of ice cream. You'd be like, oh, I'm in. Can I do this every week?
Exactly.
Yeah. Speaking of ice cream, that was also hysterical because they had the live Twitter chat on childhood obesity that was a train wreck. But my favorite part of the whole thing wasn't that Nicole was doing it and was like a train wreck, but that Jillian's literally like feeding her children ice cream with whipped cream on top of the popsicles as she's doing a live Twitter feed thing for childhood obesity. Is amazing.
And the whole time, like, Nicole was really, really trying to get her to like pay attention. She's like, how do I answer this question? And she's like over there trying to like chase her son with a spoon of medicine, saying you can't have any more ice cream until the whole thing, like just Jillian running around the house trying to get her son to cooperate, answering these questions. The people at home on Twitter, like excited to chat with Jillian, had no idea what was happening on the other side of the screen.
Yeah, I love it. It's like It's great. And I think that's why we love reality TV. It like pulls back the curtain. You're like, this is what you think you're getting, but
This is what you're getting.
This is the three-ring circus hiding behind the screen.
And then something else that was very human of Jillian was seeing her trying on all these outfits.
Oh my gosh,
for the VMAs. I was there at the VMAs, and I did see her like very.
Did she look good?
She looked great.
I loved her outfit.
She got so much hate for that outfit.
I know. I thought it was cute, and you know what it is Jillian, and you can see it when she's trying on these clothes. There's some people that are like dress and heels kind of people.
Yeah.
And then there's some people that are like a nice chic pantsuit is like the way to go.
Yeah.
It just is right on them. And some of those dresses, you could tell she was so uncomfortable and like her cleavage all out. And she was like, no.
Isn't this was this episode where it was like the box of boobs that she has? So, like,
I think, yeah,
like
either this one or the other one. But there was a box of boobs involved, which was amazing. As a no-chested woman myself, I can totally relate.
I didn't know that was a thing. Like,
oh, it's totally a thing.
After seeing the episode, I remember like a long time ago as a kid, I was like out at the store or something, and I saw one of the fake ones laying on the ground. And I was like, "Mom, what's that?" And she's like, "Oh, don't worry about it. Let's keep going." Like, and now looking back, I'm like, "Oh, well, that's what that was."
Yeah.
But no,
chicken cutlets.
Yeah, I thought it was just so funny. Like even on the way to the VMAs, Giancarlo was trying to make this like unnecessary stress, just to like when they get there to make them feel like they're ready to go, and I can't stand that because it's like any unnecessary stress for me just puts me over the edge, and I know that it does the same for Jillian, but I think the funniest part for me was whenever they were sitting there in traffic and that protester was there. And,
oh, yes, with the misspelled sign.
Yeah, and Giancarlo's like, "What's going on?" And he's like, "Something about Miley Cyrus." And Jillian's like, "What's Miley Cyrus doing? What dance? How do I not know about the dance? I'm out of the loop." Like, she was just so freaked out about it. And I was like, she's so out of the loop, but I love her.
Yeah, and then the whole thing, I don't know, Jillian didn't want to go to the VMAs.
No.
Giancarlo was like, you need to be out there and expand your brand and do this and do that. And I kind of agree with Jillian, where it's like, she has a really strong, solid brand in health and wellness. And I don't necessarily think in order to be more successful, she has to do the glamour and the Vogue and the fashion stuff and all of that, because it's not authentic. The reason why she's so successful is because it's so authentic.
Yeah.
Like, she loves what she does, and we saw it in the second episode when she was meeting with the fans and the people whose lives she's affected. Like, you can tell that she really loves what she does and she pours her heart into it and it matters to her. And I think when you are so connected to something like that, that's why you're so successful.
Yeah.
Obviously, she's very talented, but if you try to like latch on other random things that you don't really care about, then you lose that authenticity. And I feel like the brand may suffer if you try to build out in areas that aren't like you.
Right. I know definitely with Jillian that's the case. I believe though, like I get where Giancarlo's coming from though, because he's like, you have to stay connected with, I think he said Generation X or something, like the new age
the
of
millennials.
People. Yeah. And so, like, I get that. Like, if she wants to, like...
You're a millennial.
If she wants to stay connected and,
hardly a millennial. Like, the upper end.
No, you're still in it.
I'm still in there.
You're still
like,
in there.
Just barely in there.
But I get where he's coming from, and I understand that he wants her to be connected, but at the same time, she's had so much success already that, like, I don't feel like going to the VMAs is going to, like, make or break her career. Like, she could have stayed home that night and had a great night with Heidi and the kids, and it would have been fine.
Yeah. And I love it. Like, they're like, oh, it's like a date night. And Heidi's like, no.
No.
This is not. It's not a date night.
And, yeah.
This is a work night.
They seem so miserable after they walked in right before, like, Taylor Swift and all the band of supermodels.
Like, I'm surrounded by a band of supermodels. I feel great.
Yeah, but that was just so funny. It is weird to see her thrown into that world, which was something that I think was good for the episode, because us viewers were like, she is not in her element right now.
No.
You could tell she was uncomfortable. She was twitchy, but as soon as she saw the fans, yelling for her to come over to take photos and talk, she seemed like she
I still can't believe she got so much hate for that outfit. I don't know. I thought it was cute. It's not like she was going to the Oscars or the Grammys or like the SAG Awards.
And the VMAs are known for crazy outfits. Like, it's not a big deal. But
I don't know.
I mean, it did look a little bit like a circus performer type of top.
Really?
But I thought it was cool. Like, I didn't have any hate towards it, but I just feel like...
it was very simple. But I'm not a fashionista, so...
Would you wear that to the VMAs?
If I had Jillian's body, absolutely.
Yeah.
I would wear that like to my son's drop off at school.
Your son's
Just
drop-off.
wear it all day long. Just little see-through
that's
crop
so great.
tops. Why not? So we also had her also expanding the brand, doing the women's health shoot, being like sexy lifestyle. And I love that Heidi, I can relate to Heidi to some extent, where she's like, it's really hard because she's doing all this stuff for the kids and Jillian's schedule is very erratic. And so she had to be home with Phoenix because he had his tonsils out. And so Jillian needed to drop off Lou at school, but she literally had to drop off Lou at school like when she needed to be at the photo shoot.
Right.
My favorite part was that Giancarlo was like calling her nonstop. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? And she gets to the shoot and he's not even there.
I know. I was like, well, where are you? Like, yeah, seriously.
And she like shows up all freaking out, thinking like everybody's like waiting for her, and they're like chilling, eating craft
food.
services.
Yeah, like they're fine because
sipping coffee.
they're getting paid anyway.
Yeah,
So
what are they
it's
gonna
not-
do with the shoot without Jillian? Like,
I know you
come
can't
on.
really. Yeah. What are we gonna get? Some nice background shots to edit her
Yeah.
in on? No.
Yeah, and they wouldn't let her wear her fake boobs at this
Yeah.
one,
They were like, no.
which
that's-
I loved.
Yeah. Be real for
I
sure.
loved because I have the women's health issue with her on the cover, and she looks freaking amazing. And you don't need boobs
You don't need
to
fake
look
boobs.
amazing.
No, you don't.
No.
Do you,
No.
boo boo?
No.
No pun intended, boo
Do
boo.
you, boo boo? Boobies, no boobies.
It's all
Make it
good.
work.
You know what? You're beautiful just the way you are, right?
Exactly. I feel like we should sing like Kumbaya or something
Yes.
right
Let's
now.
all hold hands and sing
Oh,
Kumbaya.
good gracious.
But something that I thought was very heartbreaking was, out of all the craziness, at the end of the day, Heidi has a breakdown in the kitchen. It was so sad to see her just break down, but I think it was good because Jillian really saw the severity of the situation. Like, I feel like Jillian's always so busy going here and there.
Yeah.
She doesn't realize Heidi is struggling to keep it all held down at the house.
Yeah.
So I loved how she took the time to listen, and I feel like as much as her schedule is crazy, I feel like going forward, hopefully Jillian will keep that more in mind.
Well, and I think that's something we've seen in the podcast and in these conversations with Heidi and just with Jillian on her own, is that she's really having this kind of crisis, like life crisis, where she is trying so hard to be successful so that she can have this life that she can enjoy and so that she can be there at home with her family. But in the process, she can't be there at home with her family. And I sort of had this moment where I hope that Jillian has this moment too, either, soon in one of the episodes or watching these back, and just has that moment where you realize, and I think it's something everybody struggles with, that you want to work really hard so that you can retire and be able to enjoy life, but we don't know how long our life is going to be.
Right, yeah.
And she has this beautiful life and beautiful houses, plural.
Yeah, houses.
An amazing family and all of this stuff and a hugely successful career.
Right.
And it's like, at what point are you going to look around and realize you have all this stuff you're killing yourself to try to have?
Yeah.
It's like, just relax a little bit and enjoy what you have, because what you have is like 10 million times more than 99.9% of people have already.
And realistically, like, I believe that if she stopped right now and did not do one more, show, one more photo shoot, she could probably most likely live off what she has if she did it conservatively for the rest of her life. She makes
they have a $40,000 bed frame at their beach house.
True.
I think they'd be okay.
I know, and I really that's a good point, actually. I forgot about that. But they could sell that and like live off that, that one little bed frame. But I just think for her, like, one of these days she's gonna realize, hopefully in one of these episodes coming up, like, I hope she realizes, look, I need to stay home more. And I hope Giancarlo realizes that, instead of going out to the VMAs or going here and there, like, let her take some days off. Let her, not attend something. Oh, let's skip that photo shoot, because in the end, it's not going to make that much of a difference. She's already so huge and has all this success. I don't think missing one event's going to matter.
And that's what I think we're starting to see. I think a lot of this pressure is from Giancarlo. And it's surprising to me because she, and Heidi mentions it in the first episode when we first meet Heidi, like, she's a softie.
Yeah.
You don't really know. Like, you think you know who Jillian is, but you have no idea. She's this, like, softie person. And it's surprising to me because the Jillian that she portrays in the public eye, you would think she would have no problem saying, look, Giancarlo, I get that you want to make this huge, but like, no.
Yeah, she's so good at telling everyone else no. I feel like she's just like afraid that if she stops and stops listening to Giancarlo, that things are going to fall apart. But she's got it together. And, I feel like everyone else realizes that she needs to kind of step back and take a little bit of a break, except for him. So I feel like in one of these next episodes, I'm hoping that he has a sit-down talk with her.
Yeah.
I hope that happens.
Me too. All right, I think we have sufficiently covered episode 3.
Right.
So we can head on over to episode 4, when G's away. And when G's away, people are gonna play.
That's right. Hey.
That is what happens. Oh dear. I think again, this episode we start with them at home, and Jillian gets packages, and we think it's like the crap, some more Impact clothing for her to be horrified by. But instead, it is
fertilized
chicken eggs. Her lovely partner Heidi has ordered more chickens. They already have 6, and now they have 3 more. So now they have 9 chickens.
That phone call that we heard from them was too funny. She's like, "What are we supposed to have? 9 chickens?" And Heidi's like, "Yes." Yeah.
Oh, and they were making the birthday cake for the chickens.
Yeah.
Feeding them, putting eggs from the chickens in the cake.
She's like, "Isn't that cannibalism?"
Yeah,
like,
well, she finds out that Heidi's been feeding them scrambled eggs, which I think is like I'm with you, Jill. Like,
I think it is cannibalism.
That's a little sketch, right?
Yeah.
To feed your chicken the eggs, like that's feeding them their babies.
It's pretty messed up, in my opinion.
Because Heidi was like, "No, it's cannibalism if you feed them other chickens," and I'm like, "Well, I think this is worse because you're literally the eggs are their babies.
Yeah, the eggs, even if it's not fertilized, it's still a part of the baby.
You're feeding them unborn babies. That's not
but
all right.
Apparently, Heidi, it's one of her new waves of new
PETA.
mom, stuff. Yeah, seriously, they'll crack the whip on that one. Oh my goodness.
So that was a fun little start, and then we find out about the Tito Ortiz fight, who apparently Jillian is buddies with, big MMA fighter, and they get to go ringside.
That was too funny. Whenever she gets up, she's like, yeah, go, and then they're like, dude.
Oh, yes.
They lost.
Yes.
He lost.
Yeah, she gets
Sit
up
down.
and cheers and has no idea what's happening in this MMA fight.
Oh, she said they're never going to invite me back.
Yes, it was amazing. And then Chloe, her hairstylist, who I love, she's like comic relief.
Comic
just
relief.
Hysterical. Just flirtatious. And she's trying to hook up with this he was a fighter, Kimbo, this big guy, and Jillian's basically like cock blocking him, saying that Chloe has STDs, which was amazing.
That was so embarrassing. Can you imagine? Like,
poor thing.
Like it was crazy. But I think the funniest part was whenever she was like saying, "No, he could split you in half. Like, leave it alone.
You'll thank me later.
Yeah,
it would hurt you."
That was the best thing ever.
So wrong. I loved it.
But then after all the fight and everything, we kind of see like them settle down, and they go back home, and Giancarlo's comes in, which immediately makes everything a little bit more stiff because he's like, "Oh, business," and he wants to let her know, "Hey, I got your podcast all ready to go, but I'm not going to be there."
Yeah.
So he decides that it'd be a good idea to get Lauren, Jillian's half-sister, involved, and Jillian, you can really see a very emotional side of her at that point. What did you think of that little breakdown that she had?
I really like this. I think reality TV is hard because, especially like a new reality TV show, it's so hard to get comfortable enough or to be comfortable enough with yourself to be really vulnerable in front of like a crew of random people.
Right.
And people are going to see this. And I just thought it was really real and authentic. And, it was great. Like, she was really worried because the backstory is she had paid for her half sister to go to Oxford for undergrad, and her sister wanted to get her master's, and she didn't want to pay for it. And she thought it's you're getting yourself into debt, and Jillian's kind of like a parent figure to Lauren because her parents weren't really in the picture,
right.
And she was really worried for her sister, and so Giancarlo calls her up, and she's like, "Oh yeah, I'll do anything."
Yeah.
Jillian's like, "What?" He's
I know.
like, "You should probably go talk to her. Like, go have lunch.
And that's what I love is I have a quote from Giancarlo. He said, I'll send you my bill because I'm a lot cheaper than the family therapist.
Yeah.
That I literally cracked up. It was just so funny because he, as serious as he is, he still has a fun-loving side to him. And just quotes like that from him, I just laugh every time because he really is funny.
Yeah. So they go to lunch. And again, I have to kind of agree with Jillian. Like, God bless her. I love school. I love educating herself. But she's getting her master's in the social sciences of the internet.
Yeah.
And Jillian's like, the what?
Yeah.
She's like, Instagram? Like, you're getting your master's in Instagram. It's going to cost you $80,000.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was a little... Yeah, and you know what's funny is, like, I wonder if Lauren... By the way, Lauren's gorgeous, by the way.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Drop dead gorgeous.
Yeah, I mean...
Beautiful.
I was just like, oh my gosh. Like,
Beautiful
super
girl.
attractive.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think maybe Lauren decided that she was going to just openly, like, yeah, I'll do the podcast. You know, I'll go out to lunch with you to kind of butter Jillian up into co-signing for the
No, I think
loan.
she knows, because I think they've already hashed that out. Like, I think she knows that Jillian's not going to co-sign on it. But I think it was the issue of Jillian did not want her to even get. The issue is Jillian didn't, from what I understood, was that Jillian didn't want her to go into debt on her own about it.
Yeah.
She was like, you shouldn't go and get this degree because you're going to go into debt and it's not necessary.
Yeah.
You should go and work and use your degree or whatever. And I was expecting it to be, I was not expecting it to be like social sciences of the internet.
Yeah,
masters.
I was like, wait, what is that? Yeah.
Because I was like, well, Jillian, you know, like a master's degree is valuable for some people. But then I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, you're like, oh, okay.
Social sciences of the internet. Apologies to anybody out there who has their master's or PhD in the social sciences of the internet. I did not know that that existed.
Sorry.
Because I'm so old, there wasn't the internet when I went to college.
I think it's really funny to watch, though, because, like, while they're at this lunch, Lauren is actually so intuitive and so smart. Like, you know, because she's basically, you know, after Jill's talking to her about, oh, you know, Heidi really wants to get married and everything, you know, Lauren is just like, you know what, you need to just do what your heart makes you happy, you know, like out of everyone's opinion and everything like that. I know you're afraid to get married, but like realize that I know you're superstitious, but you have such a strong relationship. Like you have to kind of lean on that and know that, you know, if this is going to make Heidi happy and really close the deal for her, then yeah, you should do that. Yeah. That's going to make her feel so much more loved. And so I think Jillian's kind of missing the picture with that. And I love how Lauren kind of was just like, look, you need to really think about this.
Well, and I thought it was interesting, too, because I think a lot of probably Jill's views on marriage have to do with, obviously, her parents didn't have the healthiest of relationship, and we don't know much about it. We just know little bits and pieces, and I have a feeling we'll probably learn a little more about it as we discuss this marriage issue with Heidi throughout the season. But it's interesting that Lauren, who very clearly didn't have the parents around, has such like a positive outlook and like just do what's good for your heart, and you know, don't be worried about all that other stuff.
Jill was just like, are you really thinking about getting married? She's like, yeah, someday. And like it was just so funny because Lauren was just like so open to everything. She's like, you should know better. Yeah. But it's great because, you know, people like that, you know, who go through a hard time, they need to have a positive outlook because what else is going to get them through the day? Like they need to know that not everyone is going to like burn you like someone from your past.
Exactly.
I love that moment. Yeah. She seems like such a smart girl.
And she's getting her master's.
So you go get that social science
of the internet. And you change the internet for all of us,
That's
Lauren.
Right.
And look gorgeous doing it. I mean, she's really beautiful. So Lauren helps her with this live podcast that they do. Apparently she's been on the road with Jillian before. Yeah. And they go. And honestly, my favorite part of the whole podcast thing is Jillian driving there.
Oh. That was a mess. I wrote down in my notes, I would never drive with Jillian. I just wouldn't.
I love it. I'm a terrible driver too, Jillian. Like to the point where my 2-year-old son is like, crazy driver, Mommy. I was like, oh, yep. Hold on tight.
Hold on tight. I hope you're buckled in.
But they're all like clinging to like the handrails for like their life. Yes. I thought those things were just for hanging dry cleaning on, but apparently
no. Apparently those are for like life.
Like hold on for dear life. I know. So they go and Justin Shuby is the event coordinator, and I think it was at like a comedy club.
Yeah, it was like an improv club.
Yeah, it was like an improv club in Irvine, and they have like 1980s wired mics set up.
She's
and
like,
to
no.
be honest, this felt a little fake to me. It felt like they needed something to be dramatic.
Yeah.
So they're like, oh yeah, it'd be really great if you brought out these like wired mics and we have to make a big deal about it.
Yeah.
Because it just really felt super duper fake to me. The whole like, oh, what am I gonna, you're messing with my juju. And I get that Jillian's like superstitious,
Yeah.
but it just felt a little bit put on this little scene to me. And then magically they have two wireless mics after like all of that. I was like, you don't just have like wireless mics in your back pocket.
No.
Like,
yeah.
They're super expensive.
And, yeah. I feel like that may have been stage 2. I don't know if Jillian knew. I don't know if it was just the producers who were like, let's real mess with her.
Yeah.
Let's put wired microphones out
Yeah.
there. And that was just, I mean, just seeing that that's the part of her that I said in the last episode that we did. I've never seen that part of her, like the superstitious, very like, oh no, I can't do this if we do this. Like if I have a wired microphone, I'm not going on. Like when I found that out about her, I was like, who is this Jillian
She's like,
Michaels?
I'll always have to do it with a wired mic if it goes well or something. I was like, God bless you.
I was like, chill.
I love it.
But I love how, they did this podcast, and I love how they opened it up to the public and, let strangers.
It's such a smart idea.
Yeah, like let strangers ask her questions.
Oh my gosh, and it was hysterical. I felt like I was watching stand-up comedy. Like Jillian could be a stand-up comic.
She's
super funny.
So funny. I feel like she should go on a tour.
Yes.
Now I know this is like it would keep her from her family, which we don't want. But
they could go with her.
Yeah, like if she went on an inspirational speaking tour and like
oh my gosh,
added in all this like improv-y like funny stuff. Like I know I think
she could go on a comedy tour, like the whole bit, like doing like the fitness like advice to ridiculous people. Like it was hysterical.
I know. It seemed like one of those things that would be great on like a cruise ship, Yeah. Because like like she was better than like the acts that I saw on the cruise ship. It's just great.
Hysterical. I would watch her do stand-up comedy.
Same.
That was amazing and super successful. The whole podcast thing. I loved it.
And they did it without Giancarlo.
Yeah. We don't need Giancarlo.
We love him, but...
And then speaking of Giancarlo being missing, they were also going to Midwest Mania in Chicago, which is a big fitness convention I've actually been to. So like instructors and trainers will go to get like inspiration, learn new techniques and stuff like that, get CECs so they can stay certified. And Jill's presenting her program Body Shred there. She trains instructors to teach this program. Mm-hmm. And Giancarlo puts Chloe in charge, which is the most peculiar decision I think he could have made.
I know.
But hey.
Yeah, I don't know if that was put on or not. Like, I don't know. Because, I mean.
She suggested shots at like 9 a.m. Like,
I can't even imagine.
Good.
No.
So bad.
That was too funny.
Yeah.
And that whole thing with, Jillian trying to like balance, okay, I need to be professional, I need to work, and I need to do a good job at this. And then to see her so quickly like, oh yeah, let's go out and party.
Let's party.
Like, I was like, Jillian, what are you doing? You have to be up so early tomorrow to do this huge thing in front of all these people. And it was weird to see her kind of risk it. Like
they're doing like body shots and dancing.
Oh my goodness. And
I think my favorite line was when they're getting on Chloe for not dating, and Jillian says it's been such a long time her hymen has grown back intact. It was so wrong and so right all at the same time.
I did feel a little bit bad for Chloe because like she has every right to feel like she doesn't want to just be with anyone. She wants to be like, she's very picky, and like as a picky person myself, I hate it when my friends are like, oh yeah, let's go, let's meet new people, and I'm like, no, like I want to meet.
But it felt like she hasn't even like tried. Like I think it's been long enough that they feel like they can be like, you need to.
But Jillian was like not even wanting her to meet someone to be with. Jillian was just wanting her to have sex, pretty much.
Well, yes.
I was like, Jillian,
she was maybe living vicariously through Chloe, who's single and hot.
But what did you think about the scene? Well, the part where some random guy takes a body shot off of Jillian. Like, I was like, that's not cool. Like,
they were all doing body shots.
I know, but she has like
interesting.
Heidi.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, that's like a whole dynamic that I don't really know. Like in the lesbian community, like is it cheating if it's like a guy? I mean, obviously if she like hooked up with a guy, it would be cheating. But like to have a guy like take a shot, I don't know. To me, it would be like the equivalent of like a gay guy who I'm friends with, like taking a shot off me. It was like the farthest thing from sexual.
Yeah.
But like just funny.
Yeah.
And whatever, like. they were all doing it. I don't know. I saw it as harmless.
Yeah. I mean, I guess from my perspective, seeing it, I was like, oh my gosh, it's infidelity. But like, I don't know. I get what you're saying.
I don't know. I feel like
the
it's
whole
like,
dynamic that her and Heidi had in the first place. She probably didn't give it a second thought.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. Maybe Heidi was upset when she saw it.
Yeah. Can you believe though they were just like throwing back the Patron bottles and everything? I was like, how do you even do that? Like,
they didn't feel well the next day.
No, they did not.
And Jill forgot to write her workout.
I can't believe she did that. Like, that really surprised me because she's got it all together always.
Yeah.
And like seeing her like, oh crap, I need to write my workout. I need to get it all together. And I'm hungover. I'm like,
yeah.
Well,
and it's interesting too because like my mom is a fitness presenter and I have presented at conventions and like literally will like write my workout like months in advance, and you have to like submit them to the board to get asked to present. Like they have to know your workout and your session, the title, and basically like roughly an outline of what it's going to be.
Yeah.
But I think because it's Jillian Michaels and her program is Body Shred and it's a branded program, they were probably just like, oh yeah, come do your program.
Yeah.
But it was just interesting that she had like this such like a laid back like, oh yeah, just
yeah, I wonder like if anyone who's like coordinating these events in the future, I wonder if they see this. I wonder if they'll be like, ooh, like
it's Jillian Michaels.
True.
Let's
if it was
be
anyone
honest,
else,
like she's gonna bring in a huge crowd just by being there.
Yeah.
It's like her name is huge. Like,
and I mean, she really pulled it together.
Yeah, well, we see her. She brings Kenta, and we also meet Elle, who's another one of her fitness instructors, to come, and they do their body shot presentation. But the thing that bothered me about this again was like kind of an issue, and maybe it was like a production thing, but the mic issue. So they had problems with the mic. There was a lot of feedback, and to me, like, because I've been to these conventions, typically before the participants are allowed into the room, you mic check, you check your music, you do all that. So I was a little confused as to why like none of that was done before they let like the 100 and 200 people into the room. But it did. But she rolled with it, and she gave a great workout, and people love her. It's rightfully so. She's fantastic.
Yeah.
And
the
blast.
people's expressions though when they were like,
oh my gosh,
they were like, "Are you kidding me? Like, what's happening right now?"
Like, what?
They were all pumped up, like, "Yes, we're gonna go and we're gonna work out with Jillian Michaels," and then they had to stop and like get all their energy drained out. They're like, "Really? This is happening right now?"
Like, why? I love it. So and then also this episode we go to Escape the Room.
That is really cool. I've seen a lot of commercials for Escape the Room. And I would want to go, but it's still kind of scary. Like, would you ever do that?
Yeah. Okay, so for those of you that don't know what Escape the Room is, it's in Los Angeles, and it may be in other cities, but it's basically this place that they have these different challenges, and they like lock you in this room, and you have to try to get out. And there's different scenarios, like you're an undercover spy, or you're like, you know, in jail, and you have to break out of prison, and
like
they literally lock you in this room, and you have to do stuff for an hour, and you have an hour to get out and like succeed. My husband actually wanted to take us there and for a date night, and I was like, no. And he was like, what? It'll be fun. You always want to do something fun. I'm like, I will have a panic attack if I feel like I'm locked in some like dark dungeon room and can't get out.
Yeah, and I know a lot of them have turned like scary. Like now it's like some guy like threw you in his dungeon.
Yeah,
or, like,
they're like really disturbing.
Lab.
But this one actually it looked fun. Like they were doing like puzzles, and they were trying to solve these things. And Nicole was like, I think Jillian said like Rain Man with the puzzles.
My gosh,
she was like solving them all, and they're like, "Who? You can't book a plane ticket for my daughter, but you like."
I put that down. Like, God forbid she book a plane ticket for my daughter, but the girl can put together a puzzle like she's been watching Sesame Street her whole life.
Oh my God, I love it. I love it.
Oh, that reference was great.
And they're fighting over like who decoded the puzzle, and they're all there. Oh, it's hysterical.
You could tell that they weren't even mic'd up, like Chloe and Nicole.
Yeah, like, they were just jumping into the conversation.
They were like jumped into the interview. They're like, no, we're telling you how it went down. Like, we are not playing around. It was so great.
So a big group of them went. It was Kenta, who else was there? Nicole, Jill, Kendall, I believe we see.
I think so. And Giancarlo was there.
Giancarlo, Heidi, and then Andy, Jill's best friend, were all there. And they could not escape. No. And Jillian was bitter beer nuts. She was not happy at all.
Yes. Poor Jillian. But man, it's so funny to watch someone like her though, like when there is like defeat.
Yeah.
Like she has a hard time taking it.
I think she's still like struggling. Like I wouldn't be surprised if she like went back there on her own just to do it without all of that.
Yes. I could see it too. I could see her being like, no, I'm gonna do this.
I'm gonna get out of this place by myself.
Seriously, like if I mean, I don't know how much it is to go there, but like if I was gonna pay,
I think you can get a Groupon for it.
Oh, you can?
Yeah, it's totally on Groupon.
If you were gonna go into one of these places and you didn't make it through, I would be so mad. I'd be like, I want my money back, or I want to do it again because I'm gonna do this. You know, after
and they like make you take a picture with like almost.
Yeah.
So sad.
She gave the camera the finger.
I love it. Well, I think that wraps it up. Other than Heidi still wants to get married and Jill still doesn't believe in marriage.
Which I guess leads us into the prediction segment.
Yes.
There it is. I was waiting for it.
For those of you that are listening, the lights flash and it's this whole fantastic thing that happens in the studio.
Okay, so my predictions. I feel like, I think I said this before, so spoiler alert. I really hope that she has a sit-down conversation with Giancarlo and says, look, man, I get that you're trying to make me relevant, but like I already have such a big brand. Let's take a seat on a few of these things and let me live with my family, have a good time with them. You know, the kids, they don't know that their mom is, you know, off doing this or that. They just know mom's not here. Yeah. So like I really, really hope that in one of these episodes we see that and that she really takes that seriously, because Heidi keeps telling her, hey, look, you need to like spend more time with us. And she's like, okay, I will. And then she hasn't yet. Yeah. I know she has a lot to balance, but like, I really hope that that's something that happens soon. What about you?
Yeah, no, I agree. And actually, you know, her son and my son are the same age, and it's really hard because they just don't understand why mommy has to go. Yeah. And it's confusing. And it's, you know, like it's, and I wonder how it is for Jillian, because for like my husband, my son gets that he like daddy goes to work and then he comes back home because his schedule is super consistent. Yeah. And for Jillian, it's very erratic, and my schedule is also the same way. It's like very inconsistent, the days and times that I'm gone. Yeah. And that's really hard on them. And so I agree. Unfortunately, I think that there's gonna have to be a real breakdown before that conversation happens with Giancarlo. Yeah. I think that Jillian's gonna just get pushed beyond her max, which we already can see in some of the podcasts, her breaking down and just being like, this work-life balance does not exist. And I think she's gonna have a real breakdown, and that's when the honest conversation is gonna happen with Giancarlo. We also see, you know, the previews there. She's going to be working with the Clintons, which should be interesting. Yeah. And she has some interaction with Heidi's mom and dad. So I have a feeling next episode, the marriage conversation is going to become a real big issue.
Jillian's favorite topic.
Yeah. And then we're going to have some house problems too, which is always fun.
I did not understand that clip where, you know, it's like the golf cart and something's happening and, you know, she's yelling at that guy and he's yelling back and the other guy's like, shut up.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, what is happening?
But if it's anything like their first house problem with the beeping, where it beeped for like a week and it was just like, just press pound and it said it like right on there. And then
I'm sure that guy felt so
it'll be entertaining.
I can't wait.
House problems are always fun.
Yeah. This has been a great time, guys. Recapping season 1, episode 3 and 4.
Yes.
So please leave comments in the YouTube video. Please let us know what you'd like to see on the show. And hopefully, eventually, we might get a special guest in here, I'm hoping.
Yeah. So throughout the week, hit us up on Twitter. Yeah. Let us know your thoughts on the episode, predictions, anything. We love interacting. I'm Lindsey Miller. You can find me at Rockin' Mama Life on Twitter and Instagram. And
I am Dakota T. Jones. You can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube at Mr. Dakota T. Jones. Thanks, guys. Have a great night.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.